Lean by Summer. 5 simple steps. So whether you're working out or driving or consider just listening and taking it in, I'm going to share with you directly the best points, how to get lean by summer in 5 simple steps. But if you are at home or at office and you have access to pen and paper, consider grabbing it because I'm going to share with you some key things that you want to lock in and internalize and memorize down deep into your soul. So to start, to get lean by summer, I feel like the very first thing to consider doing is to have a clear, specific goal. So with that in mind, we're going to do a little educational exercise right now for you. So if you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be over the next year or so, what would that look like for you? That's your clear, specific goal. Now, once you've got that dialed in and locked in, then consider getting it down to a specific body weight and a body fat percent. That is very important for you to have a very specific targeted goal. So consider locking it down, your goal, into a specific body weight and specific body fat percent. Now, once you have that locked in, we're going to set up a little affirmation / prayer. So here it goes. If you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be between now and next year. Here goes the affirmation again. So that was the goal setting process. So the affirmation is, so once you have your body weight goal, let's start over again. Once you have your body weight goal and your body fat percent, so we're going to wrap it up into an affirmation. And it goes like this. I am happy and grateful now that I am, state your body weight and body fat percent. I'll use myself as an example. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. So now, once you have that, consider saying that every morning, every day on your fitness journey. And then what we're going to do right now is we're going to back it up with what I call the 5 simple steps: training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. So let's take a look at training. Now imagine for a moment that we have a twin engine airplane. And we're flying along, and on one engine we have strength training, on the other engine we have cardiovascular engine. So they have 2 engines, one is strength, one is cardio, and that's just like your fitness. And imagine you're flying along, and so obviously we want to have both engines running strong on the airplane. We don't just want to be having one engine off, like just doing cardio and not doing weights, or just doing weights and not doing cardio. Consider having both engines going, have a combination of both strength training and cardiovascular training. Now, how do we lay out a good strength training program? Here are 5 fundamentals to lay out a good strength training program. Be on the lookout to include proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Now let's look at proper form. Why would proper form be so important? Why is it important to do the exercise correctly? Well, there's 2 main reasons to consider. One is so that we get the most out of it, and so we're going to optimize the exercise. But then another reason is very important. The second reason is because we don't get an injury. An injury will really be a major setback. So with proper form, be sure to realize the benefits is so that you can be the most effective use of your time and energy, but then also, 2, you don't get an injury. Now, the second part of a good training program is variety. Now, why would variety be be an important part of a strength training program? Well, there's a couple different reasons to consider. One is that we might mentally get bored. I mean, if you're doing the same workout for a year, week on, week out, you probably get bored. But then also, too, our bodies get bored. Have you ever heard of a plateau? Well, a plateau is where you get stuck at a certain level, and then it's hard to overcome and get to that next level. You've reached a plateau. By adding variety, you can be ensured that you can continue to break through and not hit plateaus and not get bored and have fun workouts. Let's look at intensity. What comes to mind when you think about exercising with intensity? What comes to mind? Well, challenging yourself, right? Pushing yourself. Imagine for a moment we're doing chest presses and we're going for 12 repetitions. Boom, we're going for it. We get 9, 10, 11, and we barely get that 12th repetition, but we got that 12th repetition. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps, and why? Would be the last few reps, right? And why would it be? That's where the overload occurs. That's where the breakdown occurs. So when you're struggling on those last few reps, that's where the challenge is occurring, and it's challenging your muscles, and that's what's going to give you the breakdown, and that's what's going to cause you to grow back more muscle. The fourth component of a good training program is using proper training principles. There's all kinds of training principles like compound sets, drop sets, supersets, up and down the rack, 21s. There's bunches of them. I encourage you to consider just sprinkling them into your workout routines on and on as you go along. And be lookout for the app. I have a free resource for you right here. You can go to the App Store, whether it's Apple or the Google or Android, Google Play Store, and download, look out for Workouts for All. Workouts, the number 4 all. You can download it, set it up for free, and I have free plans available. I have nutrition resources available, the best motivational videos available, all for free. Now that brings me to my last key point of a good training program is consistency. What do you think about when you think about the power, the principle, and why consistency over time with your exercise program, why consistency is an important role for exercise? Why would that be? Well, think about it. Imagine for a moment that we have you, and say you have a twin of you, and you have the same the same fitness ambitions, but you start off, you work out 80, 90% consistently. You're doing your nutrition 80, 90% consistently. You're getting your rest 80, 90% consistently. But then the other person starts off that way, but then misses a workout here and there, skips good quality meals and has extra junk food. At the end of the year, who is going to have the best results? Would be the person, it'd be the version of you that is the most consistent person. The principle of consistency in your exercise program is huge. I encourage you to please consider it. So now we'll just summarize what makes up a good strength training program. It's the 5 components of the good training program. When you're building out a strength training program: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Now, let's look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a beautiful 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? Part of the way, right? Halfway. So the foods that you and I eat on a daily basis, the foods that we all eat, are like the supplies that goes towards building our bodies. So consider being very particular with your food intake. Now, what do I recommend? I recommend a whole food plant-based diet composed of about 50% fruits and vegetables, 25% whole grains, and 25% plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds. Now, if you want to do a little deeper research into this, consider watching the documentary The Game Changers. It's called The Game Changers. It's on Netflix and YouTube. So consider watching it because it'll share a lot of the science behind why this works so good. Now, when it comes to nutrition, I feel there are basically 4 basic ways that food affects our bodies: our metabolism, our energy levels, our insulin levels, and our blood sugar levels. Now, imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace and we want to have a fire going in the fireplace. And on one hand, we have a stack of oak wood, and on the other hand, we have a stack of paper. Now, not including, kindling and getting the fire started, but if you had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in your fireplace, which one would you pick and why? Well, most of us will pick the oak wood. And why? Because it's going to burn longer, slower, more efficiently, right? So what burns more like oak wood? Fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes, lentils, nuts and seeds and stuff like that. It's all kind of good things to choose from. And I do have free resources in the app, just to let you know. Now, let's finish up with mindset. When it comes to fitness, I feel mindset is so important. So consider this. Imagine for a moment that one of my biggest mentors was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he often would talk about how he would visualize himself up on the stage, winning his competition months before it ever happened, right? So that's what I want you to consider doing, is visualizing your best self. Visualize it into the future exactly how you want it, but I want you to see it in your mindset. So here's a little exercise you can play around with if you're interested. Pretend like when next time you lay down or you're getting ready to go to sleep, rest, lay down, put your hands on by your side, scan your body from head to toe, up and down, totally relax, and then visualize, picture in your mindset exactly what you want to look like and feel like. And then hold that image until you drift off and fall asleep. That's just a fun visualization exercise I've been doing for many years. I still do it. It's very helpful. I'd love to get your feedback on that. But consider this too. At the beginning of this video, we talked about affirmations. So let's recap with affirmations. So you have your body weight goal and you have your body fat percent goal. And here's your affirmation to consider using. I am happy and grateful now that I am. You state your body weight and you state your body fat percent. I use myself as an example. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. That's the affirmation / prayer. So if you memorize yours and you say it every day in the morning with meaning and feeling, think about what it does. You're feeling happy and grateful in the moment for what it is you're striving for. But you're grateful now. I'm so grateful that I'm 190. Although when I step on the scales, it says 183. But in my mind, I'm saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am 190 pounds, because that's what I'm striving for. And I say that, and then I back it up with the 5 steps: training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. You can do the same. I encourage you to do the same. Now, some people, whether you do it, if you can do it by yourself, great. Not everybody can do it by themselves. So I encourage you to get help, whether it's the best way is to have a professional hold you accountable. And if you have access to, if you live in Tucson, Arizona, I do one-on-one personal training at a beautiful studio at Swan and Sunrise. I would love to train you there if you're interested. But if you live in another city, find a qualified trainer that you can really connect with and do one-on-one training. I recommend it if that's an option. Another option to go is virtual fitness training. And that is what I do. I put my 40,000 plus hours of experience together. I'm very good at detailing programs and helping you go from point A to point B. If you're interested in that, send me a message. Message me the word FIT to 520-400-9573. And we'll set up an initial consultation and we'll go over everything. It may or may not be a fit, and either way is okay. One other free resource is here is the app. So on the app is a free download, whether it's you go to the Apple Store or if you go to the Google Play Store, search for Workouts for All, Workouts, the number 4, ALL. You'll see this logo. Download it, set up a free account, and I'm making there's going to be so many workout plans available. There's already some there now. I have resources, I have nutritional resources on there, and I'm putting my best clips from videos, like 1-minute clips that seem to be the most impactful. They're in there under resources. That's all in the app, and that's all for free. So consider that. And my goal here is to come at you for support every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, be blessed. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And that's it. Remember that our health is wealth. So it doesn't matter what earthly possessions we have. Our health, health is wealth. So I encourage you to take care of your health, do the training, the nutrition, the recovery, the supplementation, the mindset, put it all together. And because you're going to reap the rewards of all that discipline. You know, when we get to 10, 20, 30 years down the road, we're either going to be happy that we had the discipline, or we're going to be regretful that we're going to have feeling regret. So imagine, one of my mentors used to say that regret weighs tons. Imagine the regret. You get into your 60s and 70s and 80s and you have heart disease and strokes or out of shape, whatever, all those problems that go along with that. That's regretful. But imagine you get to later in life and you're healthy and fit and you're enjoying life. That discipline pays off. So I encourage you to stick with the discipline of the training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. It's worth it. Be blessed. And with that, I will see you, God willing, Sunday. Bye for now.